Following a 1-9 year last season, the DeSoto football team is expecting a year of improvement this year. The Dragons lost 8 players to graduation last year and returned 18 starters, all 11 on offense and 7 on defense. With the number of returning players they have, one would think that the expectations would go up. Head coach Doug Baker says the expectations come from their hard work.
It's one of those things where we've put in a lot of work in the off season, in the fall and the spring, the winter, spring, and the weights, and our various other sports that we encourage the kids to participate in. But those expectations only come with hard work in each and every day, and that's one thing that we preach to our kids, and it goes from drill to drill, minute to minute, day to day.
The Dragons tallied 1,324 yards in the air and 1,539 rushing yards last season and scored 27 total touchdowns. Baker says one of their main goals this year is to be more efficient on both sides of the ball.
We did a good job in both. You look at the numbers, we were decent yardage-wise per game in the pass game and decent yardage-wise per game in the run game. Unfortunately, sometimes that did not translate into a lot of points for us, and that's what we're talking about, being more efficient, to where we get to the red zone opportunities, we get to a nice third and short or third and medium. We need to take care of those situations. So that's one thing that we'll be emphasizing this year, is being a little bit more efficient, both in the red zone and third downs.
With everyone returning on offense, the Dragons will have an experienced group in the backfield. Senior running backs Noah Boyer and Trey Adams both return as senior running backs, and 4 seniors on the offensive line. They'll have a junior at quarterback in Zach Smith, who started all 10 games last year. Baker says having a year under his belt will be a great help for his signal caller.
It's one of those things with our offense. It's somewhat multiple. There's a lot of different aspects to it, and he just absorbed it the entire year and did a great job. Coming in this year, he's a lot more confident on what we're doing, how we're doing, what his reads and progression is going to be also in the run game and the pass game. So he's going to be a much more developed individual coming in as a junior, has worked very hard in the offseason.
Smith's favorite target, junior Lamont Allen, returns from a 9-touchdown performance last season. Allen is one of the most talented athletes in the area and competed at state in the high jump his freshman and sophomore years. With the weapon of Smith to Allen no longer a secret, Baker says they're preparing for teams to try and take them out of the game.
With a duo, as those two kids are, you need to be prepared for it, and I hope they are. And if they're not, we'll continue to use that aspect. But it's one of those things where we looked at in the offseason on what we have returning and how can we adjust our offense a little bit. So when that happens, we're prepared as a staff and as a team. So if you're going to try to take those 2 guys away in the pass game, that we can use different aspects of our offense to continue to be successful.
Their big losses to graduation last year were on the defensive side. Defensive back Hunter Carey graduated, and defensive lineman Clay Thomas is now playing at Lindenwood Belleville. Baker says they'll be moving players around.
We're going to be fundamental on the defensive line and linebacker and defensive secondary. We're going to do a lot of position shifts. What I mean by that is some guys who might have played linebacker last year might be playing defensive line this year, and corners and DBs and outside backers might scoot back inside and do some adjusting to our personnel that we have.
Even with the loss of Thomas, the Dragons still expect to be solid on the defensive line. Senior Ray Steele returns from a leg injury and did not play last year. He will anchor the defensive line at nose guard and thinks their experience will be key.
On the defensive side, we want everybody to know everybody's position. So I feel like the moving around won't be as big as a challenge as it has been in past years.
With 18 returning starters and 14 seniors, there's a lot more experience on this Dragon squad. Senior offensive lineman Steven Spidell says that should make a difference.
We should start off quick, hit the ground running right from the very beginning. People remembering their responsibilities from the last couple of years. And should just get going quick. Shouldn't have to go over it as much as the past years and get it going.
DeSoto begins their season on the road against Pacific. Reporting for Regional Radio Sports, I'm Tommy Self.